Welcome back to the best division in football with Awthentik and the Beard, presented by All or Nothing Studios. I'm going to keep saying it like that. I like the way it sounds when I put that deep voice in it. Thanks for tuning in to our Tuesday recap show. Sorry for the late start today, folks. I had a meeting at work that ran till like 7 o'clock, so I had to race home. But I'm here with you guys. This is a very special episode. We're obviously going to do our normal recaps of the NFC East. But also, I believe it was Sunday afternoon around 3:30. This channel hit 1,000 subscribers. It's not about us. This is about all of us. We're a community here. We couldn't have reached it without you guys. We appreciate the support from day one. Let's take this thing as far as it could possibly go. Let's bring in the fellas. Awthentik, you've been putting in the grind. We know that. The Bears are putting in the grind, man. How you feeling? You sleeping? Are you sleeping?
I'm barely sleeping, man. I caught a quick nap yesterday, man, and I kept the streak going alive, man. Shout out to Word, who actually brought attention to that for me about the streak. I popped up on Pizzle's channel last night pretty late. He was chopping it up with The Entertainer, and he had Nicole on the show, who's a resident Giants fan as well, man. They was talking some real good talk about who's going to win the NFC East, and yeah, I popped in for a quick second, man, so I kept the streak alive. I got some good rest today. I took a little extra nap just for no reason, man. So I'm feeling refreshed, bro. I'm feeling good, man.
When you go live 9 days in a row, it's not a nap for no reason. It's a nap for a reason. You're an old man now, Awthentik. You got to take care of that body, man.
Yeah, man. Everybody in the Giants community seems to think otherwise, man, because when they find out the gems I'll be dropping from the 80s and 90s Giants, they're like, bro, I didn't even know you was that old. Yeah, man. But I'm definitely an OG. I'm mixing it up with the youngins, man, trying to keep a little balance here and bridge the gap, man. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. The Beard, you told us last week that you were getting a little trim. It looks like more off the top than off the face. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Got the fresh shape up. I'm ready to go see Abuela on Thursday now. So, yeah, feeling
Beard
good,
gang.
man.
Cleaned up, man. He cleaned up. He cleaned up. That fade fresh.
Won't you show him the hair, man? You don't want to show it to him? I mean, I like
it. I can't show it to everybody else before my girlfriend sees it.
Hey, I like that excuse. It's good.
Hey, that's good. That is good.
It's the first time I cut my hair in 4 or 5 years, though, so it's kind of crazy.
Kind of gross, but okay. All right. Shout him out in the chat, man. Who we got in here? It's popping already.
Kind of gross.
First in the chat, they was here early. Zach Phillips. Shout out to Zach Phillips. Thank you for stopping by early. Sunday was here early as well. Thank you guys for sure. Matt
Sunday
Emery
in the building.
What's going on, Matt Emery? How you doing, brother?
Hey, Matt Emery, I might have an intern job for you out here, man. My man was sending me like big takes on the NFC East predictions. Sent me like 2 paragraphs, man. But I liked it. He had Washington and the Giants as his front runners to win the division. So yeah, I'm digging that for sure.
And shout out to David, one of the day one supporters from this season. Thank you for joining us, David.
Shout out my boy
always.
David. Shout out to the new dog you got too. I heard you making it outside a lot more. I'm digging that. Put the video games down. That's what's up.
Lax is in the building. What's going on, Lax? How you doing? Thank you for joining us.
What up, Lax?
And Roman coming on over from Entertainer's channel, says he loves the channel, and we appreciate that love.
We definitely do, man.
Sure.
Appreciate that, Roman.
Waterfly is in the building.
Hey, what up, Waterfly?
What's going on? Waterfly, man, gotta show love to Waterfly. He be showing up in my over the years chats too now, so I appreciate
big supporter, man. We had to push it back
support.
to 8, man, so we could give y'all the show tonight. We couldn't do this without Scotty Boomz. Got to have Scotty Boomz in the building.
Got to. Simon Coleman, what's going on, brother? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate the love.
Simon in the building. What up?
Word is in the building. What's going on, Word?
What's up, Word? Word said his favorite drink is Hennessy the other day. And I brought up an old Tupac line, Hennessy for my enemies. Pac said that like 30 raps. I swear he did.
Nobody says it better. Papa Homewood in the building. What's going on, sir? Thank you for joining us as
Pop's in the building.
Per usual. And Tim, our resident Cleveland Browns fan, is in the building. What's going on, Glock?
That's Glock. We can't even call Glock Tim. I'm going to have the sound effects next show, man. I swear to you.
Tracy's in the building. How are you, Tracy? Tracy and Tommy are going live tonight on Tommy's channel.
I'll be in that for sure. I'll definitely be in that live stream, Tracy.
I'm going to hay him up on your block.
Hey, I like that. That kind of sounds like you and Glock make a good team.
Football Talk is in the building. Thank you. You've come to the right place for the talk of the football. Chernock is in the building. What's going on, Tank? Cernock's connection is in the building.
One time.
Bears. We got the Bears in here.
Hey, that's the first. Well, yeah, that's the first.
Joe Deals is a Bears fan.
Oh, Joe Deals is a Bears fan too. Okay.
JD Davis is in the building.
What up, JD? What up?
And thank you to everybody sending congrats for the for hitting the 1K. We really appreciate it. Really, really do appreciate it.
Who else we got? I saw a name you ain't mentioned yet that I had to shout out.
My chat just like went, Skip, there's a lot of people going on in here, man.
I see Pat's in the building. Yeah, Pat is the reason why I'm a Giants fan. Y'all make sure to check out my man Pat one time. He was giving me some Dilla gems the other day.
He said it was awesome.
And this chat just popped. I guess your chat's still jacking up, Tim. I see.
Anthony is in the building.
You know, when you see somebody holding that mouse, the little touchpad, you know something going wrong.
Mixed Sports is in the building. New York Chris is in the building.
What up, Chris? What up? I'm looking for that engraving. I'm looking for that engraving comment. Here it is. This is the one I need to see right here.
Did the beard get a haircut? Yeah.
Hey, engraving. When we see the Ravens coming up in a couple weeks, man, I want to holler at you, man. We got to collab on some content, bro. I'm definitely digging what you're putting down on your channel, man. Quality is super high, man, and I love your takes, bro. You just like dropping those videos before I could even think, man. I swear you had some new content up before Sunday's games was over.
And Christian Yours in the building. What's going on?
Christian Yours in the building. I see Manuel in the building. Man, Giants is heavy in the chat tonight.
Gravity in the building.
Gravetti. Remember, we put a little twist on that. We don't even know if that's right. Joel's in the building one time. What's up, dog?
Jordan Baker's in the building. And the chat.
Hey, we lit tonight.
Coop King in the building.
You said Ing Raven doesn't even live in Maryland, right? Awthentik?
He doesn't. I want to say he's down in Florida, I want to say. I think that's what they said in the chat. My memory serves me correctly. He's down in Florida.
Better jump on that Dolphins bandwagon because those Ravens, I don't really know.
I'm going to take the Ravens on that, Scotty, for sure, man. You know, you saw how they benched your boy, too, and it wasn't an injury last week either.
And I texted you, you're like, oh, it was a knee, and they kept showing the replay, but then after the game, they're like, nah, it wasn't an injury. He was just trash.
Yeah,
Fitzpatrick, man, he's so excited to watch Fitzpatrick. When he gets in a game, especially on comebacks like that.
Uh-huh.
All right, y'all ready?
Okay, we got somebody from the Bad Dog channel. What's that? What's up, Darshawn? How you living? Darshawn. Yeah, we got a lot of people here tonight. A lot of new faces, man. If you came through from the live stream that we did on Entertainer's channel for the Eagles game, man, salute to my man Entertainer one time, putting down them gems, man. And love the videos that Bad Dog and Entertainer put out today. I forget the guy's name, Jordan Renan or something, released a comment about YouTube creators saying that we steal all our information and reap from the research that they do or something crazy like that. I was all up in the comments calling him a bozo and all. I kind of got out of pocket and all kind of stuff, man. It was kind of wild, man. But
how can they say we steal from them? Like we don't just go on the Google machine and do our own research.
It's public information. That was one of my points that I brought up, man. And it was kind of interesting to just see somebody like that hating. I told him, I said, maybe it's your job security and the YouTube creators that are putting pressure on you right now to make you say a comment like that. Because in reality, I mean, he should be on our side and be chopping it up with us and doing content with us. Instead, you got this guy hating on YouTube content creators, man. We make this sports world thrive more. You know what I'm saying? And we give more raw takes. Most of us are fans of teams, man. So we're giving you the real pure perspective from a fan. I don't claim to be no Skip Bayless up here, man. I'm not a professional. I'm just giving you my sports take, trying to do my due diligence for the community of people that are watching us, man. So, yeah, I mean, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? I was a little heated a little earlier.
Don't give Skip too much credit, though, man. The only difference between you and Skip is about 5 inches in a paycheck, man.
And Skip Bayless will say he's a professional. That's the other thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm a professional now. We get these beats cracking. I'll show these fools what's up. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of crazy, too, because we were talking about this earlier before we went on air, and I was like, man, you want to talk about some crazy stuff in the media? Was this Washington Post article about Chase Young? Did you catch any of this?
Oh, my God, man.
What did that?
Yo, okay, so I had to bring it up because, I you know what I'm saying, I saw it. This is the title of the article. Chase Young's draft pedigree raised expectations. He's not reaching them yet. And then he goes on. This is what he says, which is like really what kind of stood out to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just like, this is just a little bit crazy. It says Young is a good pro, a high energy player, but not an impact star so far or close to it.
Who wrote that? Allie Jenkins?
No, you don't feel his presence. He doesn't distort opposing offense.
That part is crazy.
And is often handled, even schooled one-on-one by tackles who outweigh him by 60 pounds. even though Young is 6'5" and 264, they blunt his bull rushes often easily, and with their NFL level balance and footwork, they stay engaged and redirect his speed rushes far past the quarterback.
That's an axe job right there. It sounds like Ryan Kerrigan's mother wrote in.
Hey, bro, let's pull up, yo. Where does dude live? Let's pull up. Let's just pull up. Awthentik in the beard, Scotty Boomz. We pull up front door.
You don't need to know anything about football. If you watch the games, this man is double and triple teamed just about every single play.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's crazy is like, if you're watching this much film, right, and you're a writer for the Washington Post, and you can say that the one thing that made me the most upset was like his impact is not being shown. Do you not see? Yes, the defensive scheme is different, but have you not seen the difference in Montez Sweat this year?
Oh yeah, I mean Chase Young is a disruptor. I mean, it's just like the people that was kind of down on Leonard Williams as a Giant at first. You know, they're like, oh, he's not getting the sacks, but he's a disruptor. And if you get the right people around him, then those disrupting plays will turn into sacks. And it's happened for us this year, man. Throw that whole article in the garbage, bro.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
We're gonna get to it obviously when we talk about the game, but I mean, like, I'm sure he was probably like, man, I shouldn't have put this article out right before, because he put it out right before the game because, like, you know, it was the whole number 1 versus number 2 pick, and then he probably saw that play on the goal line or Chase Young, you know, forced another fumble and just cack to Joe Burrow. And then my football sound effects are one of the best in the biz. I don't know if anybody know that or not, but now y'all know that.
So y'all want to tackle this question before we get started real quick? Get a little take on this division and how wide open it is?
Yeah.
I might have a new answer. Yeah, let's go ahead.
For real?
Yeah, because Scotty Boomz been saying the Eagles all the time.
He sure
I'm done.
has.
I'm totally done with the Eagles. We'll talk about them in a second, but now I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
I'm not mad at that pick, man. I think the Cowboys got a pretty cupcake schedule for the rest of the year. But I'm riding this wave, man. Daniel Jones been playing well these last 2 weeks. Giants coming off the bye. I feel like we're going to just be revitalized and even be playing better than when we went into the bye. I'm going Giants, going to take this one. And I think we're going to get an upset win against one of these teams we're not expected to win against, being the Cardinals or the Seattle Seahawks or the Baltimore Ravens. Definitely got to take one of these teams out, I think, to get into the top of the division and get to the playoffs.
The Beard. Who you got?
I mean, I'm sticking with it, man.
I know he is.
I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with Washington. I think that the schedule allows them the best opportunity right now to win a division. It's gonna be tough. I do still stick by my words that the New York Giants are playing the best football right now. So
Wu-Tang.
So we'll see. This is going to be an interesting game on Thursday. That's going to be what's super important. But I definitely got, right now, the Washington football team winning the division. But the Giants, I think, are close, second. But it's interesting because the Cowboys, like, I was writing the Cowboys and the Eagles off for dead. And then I saw, this Vikings game, and got a little, interesting. So we'll see.
Yeah, we definitely going to talk about that Vikings game, man. That was an interesting game, man. It's Go Big Blue out here. I want to shout out to homie Shanti, who just pulled up in the building one time. My Hawaiian homie, aloha.
What up, Shanti? Yeah, so Washington actually does play on Thanksgiving this Thursday. So at the end of our recaps, the last thing we're going to send you guys off with, we're going to do a little preview for that Washington football team game playing on Thanksgiving. But we're going to first get into the recaps. You boys ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. The Eagles, this team, I don't even know what to talk about the Eagles. They lost to the Browns. It was 22-17. Eagles fall to 3-6-1 on the year, maintaining the slimmest of leads in the NFC East. First half of this game, offense non-existent. That is not exaggeration. These teams combined for 0 offensive touchdowns. They did have 4 turnovers combined. The only point scored was on a pick 6. And this was the moment. It was almost like an epiphany type moment for me. I see Carson Wentz throw a screen pass or maybe a little dump out pass or running back directly into the linebacker's hand for Cleveland for the pick 6. And at that moment, I knew I was done with Philly. I don't see myself picking them again the rest of the year. Maybe never again as long as Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz are together. I've been bamboozled, and I'm finally coming around. I'm not doing it. It's not happening. We got to talk about the Browns, though. They did have some bright spots. Nick Chubb, we talked about him. He came off injury a couple weeks ago, immediately stepped in, had a great week, had another great week against the Eagles. 20 carries, 114 yards. Olivier Vernon, that's your boy, Awthentik. He's the end over there in Cleveland. He had 3 sacks and 3 tackles for a loss. Myles Garrett was ruled out before the game. I think COVID, maybe, not sure. But Myles Garrett didn't play. It was no issue. The Browns were able to hold down the Eagles' offense. First question is going to you, Awthentik. Baker Mayfield, this guy was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. That's somebody you pick hoping to be a star, especially when it's in the quarterback position. He was 12 of 22, 204 yards. That's about it. Is he just going to be a glorified game manager? Is that the ceiling for Baker Mayfield in his career?
I don't know if it'll be the ceiling for him in his career, but this game shows a lot about an identity of a team. And the Eagles do not have an identity, and that's the biggest problem, especially offensively. Now, with Baker Mayfield, we know the identity with the Browns, and that's why you see this kind of game management role he had here. To me, what is impressive about his numbers is it's only 12 throws, but he has 200-plus yards. I think that's very impressive. It shows that they were waiting for the pass opportunities to open up. And we broadcast this game live on Entertainer's channel with Bad Dog and Entertainer. So we got to see this, very play-by-play. And in the beginning of this game, Baker was missing some easy throws. You remember that touchdown he missed in the end zone, man? I mean, wide open, he misses the touchdown on their first drive. And then they end up having to go for it on 4th down, and they don't get it. This game started with 2 long drives and turnovers, and it was an ugly day. I mean, the weather definitely played a role in this game, but I like the identity that the Cleveland Browns have behind Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They're just running that rock, and Chubb seems to get 100 yards every game. I want to say Nick Chubb had just over 100 yards in this game on just under 20 carries. I mean, that's what you want to see. And as far as Philadelphia, I think what their identity on offense could be going through Miles Sanders. I was talking about this last week. Miles Sanders against the Giants before we entered the bye, he had it was 15 carries for 85 yards, right? To me, that's just too little carries for a guy picking up that much yardage on the ground. He had over 5 yards per carry, I believe. And in this game, I thought that was the game plan, and you saw it right off the bat. I told Tim during this broadcast, I was like, the Eagles are owning the front right now. And it scared me early on in this game because on both sides of the ball, the Eagles were roughing up, the Browns in the trenches. And, as the game progressed, I mean, that Miles Sanders fumble, I think that it made Doug Peterson get away from what his game plan was, the intention of his game plan. Because, you're looking at that pouring rain. Sometimes they would show camera angles in that game where I'd be like, oh, the rain let up. And then they do a close-up, man, and it was like it was hailing in that joint, man. So that they wanted to run the rock in this game. The Eagles, man, you got to take the ball out of Carson Wentz's hands, man. I mean, was it 21 of 35? I wrote down 25, and that can't be right. I think it was 21 of 35 for 235 yards. But it's the mistakes in this game, man. He had the 2 touchdowns, but he's got the 2 interceptions. Carson Wentz now leads the league in turnovers by 5. The next person closest to him has 5 less than him, which is ridiculous. He's got 14 interceptions, 10 fumbles in 10 games, and he's been sacked 40 times. Those numbers are just like unheard, man.
Crazy.
And, in this game, I think getting away from Miles Sanders early, it made it tough for the Eagles in a back-and-forth game here. He had 16 carries for 66 yards. The fumble is just major. Boston Scott, I don't know if we want to implement him more in the game plan here, but 5 carries for 24 yards is not terrible. It's just under 5 yards a clip. And I expected a little more out of this Eagles front, man. When I saw them dominating early on in the game, I thought that this was going to be a tough day for Baker Mayfield, and I thought Stefanski was going to have to take the ball out of his hands early. But they only got 3 sacks in this game. And coming into this game, they were 6th in the league in sacks. I expected a little bit more than that. They were around 4 sacks a game. And I feel like the Browns don't have it's an improved offensive line, but I do think they're a beatable offensive line as far as trying to get sacks to the quarterback. And the score of this game really didn't tell it. Let me look at this box real quick because there was a couple things in the box. 3rd down was awful in this game. It was awful. The Eagles were 2 of 12 on 3rd down. The Browns were 4 of 14. And 4th down efficiency for the Browns, I talked about the one that they went for early in the game on the when they were like, I want to say they were on like the 2-yard line. They go for it. They didn't get that one. And they had another 4th down that they didn't get. Minus that, this game was pretty identical. Both teams had 65 total plays. Both teams had right around 315 total yards, and they each had 13 drives. The Browns edged them out by 0.2 yards more per play. And the Eagles turned the ball over 3 times. So, that's really the story of this game, man. And the Eagles, you're looking at a 22-17 score here. The game didn't look like that. The Browns were in control of this game the whole game, I feel like. there was that late score there from the Eagles, and I felt like the Browns had some opportunities to even put their pedal to the metal, and they really didn't. They played a very conservative game, but maybe that's what you got to do to get wins when the identity of your team is running behind two of probably the top 10 running backs in the league.
That's the big thing that, I mean, we see what the Browns did. Mayfield had a great rookie season, came out of sophomore year, not as good. The Beard, the Eagles, look at it the same way. Wentz drafted, had a great 2017, had some injury issues, ineffectiveness, has nowhere near come close to that level of production. Should they mirror the Browns? Maybe those running backs aren't as good, but they do have the personnel to kind of pull that off. Just make him a game manager.
I mean, we talked about this all, I feel like we've been beating this for at least the last couple of weeks about the Eagles and not running the ball when they should be. I'm looking at it. They still did not get Miles Sanders 20 carries.
I think that we were saying it because we think Miles Sanders is good and he should get more touches. I think what we're saying now is that we just got to get the ball out of Carson Wentz's hands, any means necessary type thing,
Well, I think that's going to be, if you give Miles Sanders the ball at least 20 times a game, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that is going to take a lot off of Carson Wentz. And I mean, that's just going to be the play there. But I mean, Carson Wentz is, somebody already said it in the chat, and Awthentik, we've all talked about it. He leads the league in interceptions and fumbles.
Yeah, he leads the league in everything bad, and sacks. He leads the league in sacks, too.
And he comes off smiling. I hate that. Why he comes off, takes his helmet, he's always smiling. Like, dude, you're not playing well.
So, my thing is this is like, you make him more of a game manager, right? But that's probably the smart thing to do right now at this point. Like, you can't. That's what I was going to kind of get to, and I'm just like, I'm thinking about it. It's like, it's interesting because I talked to Bad Dog a lot about this on Sunday about Jalen Hurts, because he's a big Oklahoma guy, so he watched a lot of Jalen Hurts in college, and it's interesting because you haven't really seen, he comes in the game and he does these run plays, right? We never see him come in the game and do a pass play. For one, I don't know why they just don't run that play. Like, obviously you might be able to actually catch somebody off guard.
Everyone's looking for that quarterback run when he comes into the game.
And I think another thing is that maybe we think about like redesigning the Carson Wentz plays, okay? Because if you think about it like this, a lot of the reason for Carson Wentz turnovers come from holding on to the ball for too long, whether it's the sack and a fumble, or really just waiting for a wide receiver to get some sort of separation that's just not going to happen because those wide receivers aren't getting the separation, and then he forces the pass.
Yeah.
So maybe, and they always seem to be super successful with the tight ends. So why aren't they like re-scheming the offense and doing a lot more, quick release passes to the tight ends? Utilize what you do best.
They did utilize the tight ends.
And remember, we were talking about Goddard.
Their pass catchers.
Goddard was
he had the best
receiver.
game. He had 5 catches for 77 yards. And on the opposite side for the Browns, their leading wide receiver was Kay Hodge with 3 catches for 73 yards, and they were all on big plays.
And they were all of that same play with Baker rolling out to the left to that pass on the left side of the sideline.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yo,
all 3 of those plays.
They were killing the Eagles. I'm just thinking the Browns probably ran toss right up a shit ton last game. I'm going to just keep it funky. Because they ran the fake toss right and the roll out left on every one of those big passes in this game. And it was like, here it comes. You see Baker fake the toss. You're like, here it comes. Here comes another 30-yarder. And he missed one of those too, man. He could have had another one.
Oh, the hated with Jason Peters, man. He's like 45 years old.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they didn't bring him back to play left tackle. He got put into that position when their left tackle went down. And then you saw in the middle of the game, too, Kelsey goes down, who's hands down their best player on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And, he's the general of that offensive line.
And he's been slumming. You saw him against the Giants. He might have had 6 snaps that just dribbled back like a bowling ball to the quarterback in that game, So, you got to have a bunch of pieces. And just speaking on the game manager thing, man, it's like, how do you game manage when there's no players to really manage? Because if Wentz is going to be the game manager, who does the offense go through? I like Miles Sanders, but he's not the kind of guy, I don't think, right now that we could run a whole offense through, especially when you come out on, I want to say it was the second drive. It might not have been the first drive. But the second drive of the game, you come out and you fumble on a spin. Like, I know it was a wet day out there, man, but, like, you really got to find some pieces and some weapons over here. Did Alshon Jeffrey even play in this game?
He did, and he had 2 targets and 0 catches on 2 targets.
Their wide receiver numbers were silly. Let me come back to this because, their wide receiver numbers were just god-awful.
Rager's the only wide receiver.
He had 4 catches for 52 yards, and he was their leading pass catcher as a wide receiver. Travis Fulgham had 1 catch for 8 yards. And Greg Ward had 3 for 9. Dog, come on. You can't win like that.
They brought back all these wide receivers coming, getting healthy, and it's killing my man Travis Fulgham. He's better when there's nobody else out there with him.
Facts. And look, you got to give some credit to Denzel Ward, too. Denzel Ward played a really good game on Sunday.
He's a first-round draft pick. He better play good. Come on.
Yeah, but he made some big plays, some plays that you really look at and you're like, okay, this is why he was a top pick. Right. So that's
my guy right there. What's up, Nick? How you living, bro?
What up, Nick?
But they need to, and they utilize Boston Scott very similar to the way that they utilize J.D. McKissick. Boston Scott had only 3 catches, but 26 yards, and then he had the 8 carries for 24 yards. It's kind of difficult to really pinpoint what it is exactly that kills this Eagles team because it's a little bit of everything every week.
And Awthentik's right, man. No one's mistaking Miles Sanders and Boston Scott for Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Stefanski he can do that with that team. Doug Peterson probably can't. He's going to have to rely on Wentz more. But every time this dude's throwing 2 interceptions, there's not too long you can go with that and actually have a legitimate chance at winning games.
Check this out. I had this highlighted too. I don't know why I missed over this. So last year, Carson Wentz, his average quarterback rating per game was 93. He has not hit above that all year.
I'm not shocked.
And I think that Carson Wentz, I'm going to tell you why I'm just a little bit shocked because I think that Carson Wentz has the skill set and the talent to ball out. A guy like that who's balled out like that had a great Super Bowl run season before he got hurt, right? You don't just fall off a cliff. He's only 20-something years old, So in the back of my mind, I want to be the problems in Philly are not Carson Wentz or not all Carson Wentz. But the way he's been playing, man, that statistic right there, we've played 10 games already. And he hasn't gotten over his average last year. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Matt Emery's saying at the O-line, they definitely have dealt with some injuries. Wentz is a little sneaky. He's definitely not a guy that's going to move around too much. And when he does, he can almost cause more harm than he does good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that goes back to him holding on to that ball for way too long. I don't remember.
Now, as a coach, and I talked about this last week too, Tim, as a coach, right? When you see a quarterback struggling in a certain field, it's your job to try to help him correct it. You see it. Daniel Jones has ball security issues. Joe Judge jumps right on it. That becomes a thing that we put on a pedestal to make sure that Daniel Jones could take care of the ball, right? Mm-hmm. With Carson Wentz, okay, he has a problem holding on to the ball too long and it's causing turnovers, right? Why don't we get rid of the ball quicker? We saw it. I don't want to jump the gun on the Dallas Vikings game, right? But we saw it in the Cowboys-Viking game. Andy Dalton is 3-step dropping, getting rid of that ball on quick slants, and look at him. He throws for 300 yards and has 3 touchdowns in the game. So why are we still 5-step dropping with Carson Wentz? Why are we still running play action, having him step deep back in the pocket? Why don't we make throws for him that are easier? Why don't we roll him out of the pocket and get him throwing on the run? 3-step drops, quick slants, quick outs, 5-yard outs, 10-yard comebacks, and then maybe you could set up the big play later on in the game. But the game plan from Doug Peterson just doesn't make sense. Last week, you can't run the ball enough when you got some decent weather, and this week, you get the terrible weather, and you're not making it easy on your quarterback for making him have easy throws. Dog, I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan that watches football. You saw all day with Odell Beckham and Eli Manning those first 2 years. Me and Tim went back, and we looked at Odell Beckham's numbers from his first 2 years. They were ridiculous. He had a game where he had was it 21 targets? Yeah. 21 targets, 11 catches, 185 yards, and a touchdown. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a guy that can catch the ball, and I'm going to make it as easy as possible to get him the ball. I'm going to throw him hitches. I'm going to throw him slants. I'm going to throw him outs, and then eventually I'm going to run a down, out, and up, and you're going to get burned.
Get yourself a best player and get the ball in the best player's hands as much as you can. That's the game plan.
It's simple.
But the Eagles can't do it.
Sounds very simple. They're also missing that number one playmaker. Guys they signed, like the Jeffrey brothers. They've both been hurt, ineffective when they are on the field. So, like we're saying, they're relying on 2, 3, 4 guys who shouldn't be in that position to shoulder the load, and it's really showing.
Yeah, it really is, man. I feel sorry for Eagles fans because, just a couple years ago, you coming off a Super Bowl run. your team should not flatten out this quick.
It's weird.
You're trying to find a way to defend it and maybe get back the next year, maybe the following year. But I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. And I think maybe the best thing at this point would be to just blow this whole thing up. Carson Wentz deserves to probably be on another team. I think Chicago would be a great place for him to go and be able to build with a better defense and maybe a better running game. I mean, I like a couple of guys over there. Tariq Cohen, been knocked out this whole year. But if you could get Tariq Cohen and what's the other kid, Montgomery back there, with Carson Wentz at quarterback, I know they just went and got a ex-Philadelphia quarterback in Nick Foles. But, give it to all those guys, maybe bring in Carson Wentz, see what you can. You probably got to cut Trubisky. I don't see Trubisky playing no more. I never had no faith in that kid anyway. But it's sad to see Carson Wentz's career take probably a bigger nosedive at quarterback than I've ever seen of any player in my tenure of watching football.
Yeah, and L.A. Lou brings up a great point about, the main reason where we've talked about a bunch of times. Scotty Boomz talked about it last year about how the Frank Reich leaving has completely changed everything that you know about Philly. Now, I'm not 100% sure, right? But I believe, there's a lot of talk in Philly about the general manager getting the boot, possibly.
Tannenbaum? Who's over there? Tannenbaum?
I forget the cat's name, but I was reading up on that a lot of the Eagles fans, but I mean, the Eagles fans are Eagles fans. They're mad at everybody all the time.
Let's calm down here. We're all NFC East fans. We all go through those,
We do.
But I think, they're going to have to clean house one way or another because this isn't we're having a down year with injuries. This has kind of been like this for 2 years now. I mean, last year they went on that little run and we're always like, when Philly's backs are against the wall, that's when they perform best. Mm-hmm. And that ain't happening no more. It's not happening.
It can. What if they run the table right now? What if Carson Wentz comes out and just balls out the next 6 weeks?
That's true.
Okay.
You still got to leave that window open.
Listen,
it's 1%
that's
probably.
the thing that's kind of crazy, right? Because I'm looking at it. I thought about this after watching Dallas win against Minnesota. It's like, we really never know which team is going to come out for each team in the NFC East. Are we going to come out and get a win, or are we going to come out and get a loss?
It's almost a 4-way tie through 10 weeks. I mean, any team could be in first place come the end of next week or be in last place. I think
that's the scary.
Right?
That's the scary part too, man. Is that as bad as the Eagles are playing, they're still in first place.
Thank goodness for that tie.
Yeah,
we were giving them all that crap.
Listen. We looked at that schedule though. Ain't nobody got no schedule like them Eagles got these. The remaining games for their schedule, like you gonna need Carson Wentz MVP pre-knee season type going.
What did you say?
And the thing about Doug P, the pre-knee
MVP pre-knee.
Okay.
When he was having the MVP year before he got hurt.
Have y'all ever seen that meme of that dude making fun of the way Eminem raps? Have y'all ever seen that meme?
No,
man, I'm not even gonna butcher it. I'm gonna just send it to y'all in the chat here in a little bit. But what I was gonna say about Doug Peterson is maybe he reaped the benefit of Frank Reich being there, because look at what Frank Reich is doing with the Colts now. You talking about one of the most improved defenses. Tim talked about this defense at the beginning of the year, and I was like, whatever. It's the Colts, man. And he's really rebuilding that team, man, around an old quarterback who arm looks pretty shot. But they got a great running game going over there with two running backs who are pretty equal caliber to Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, if you think about it. Maybe a little bit more youth over there with the rookie running as well. But it's a very similar situation. You don't see any like glaring great players over there with the Colts. Like who are their weapons at wide receiver? T.Y. Hilton has had a fall-off year. Pascal's still out there, right? Catching some passes.
Michael Pittman Jr.
And Michael Pittman Jr.
I keep telling everybody about.
But bro, I bet you we go look up those stats. Those guys, come on. You look at that wide receiver core and you go, it don't look that great.
It's that 3-rotation running back that's really, and the play calling, the coaching.
And the defense.
Yeah,
and
defense.
the coaching.
100% the defense is
which
carrying
is
them.
Which is my point about the Eagles, man. Like, I think it's time to just get rid of Peterson. He got overhyped during that Super Bowl run, and we're seeing right now that was Frank Reich's team. That offense was a lot of the reason why they got to where they got. And you saw Nick Foles balling out. You saw Carson Wentz balling out, and both of them look like garbage now that Frank Reich is not over there. So I think that's something to look at. And as far as benching Carson Wentz, I don't think you bench him this game. I give him 2 more games. And if he looks like absolute crap, and the Eagles fall back in this division, get a game or 2 back, and then I'm bringing in the young boy. I'm gonna bring in what's his name? Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Yeah. I mean, look, this is the schedule on the screen. Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, Arizona, that's their next 4 games. They could easily come out of that 0-4.
Definitely. Yeah, they could definitely come out.
If they lose 2 of those, they're done. They're done because a couple of the teams in this NFC East are going to win some games here. So if Philly doesn't get it together right now, it's over. And I already think it's over for them. They don't look like they're going to get it together. So, and like Authentik saying, you got to be more than the sum of your parts. And that's what Frank Reich offered to them. And now they got these nice pieces. They dealt with injuries, but they're way less than the sum of their parts. And this is the result. You know,
yeah, that's real, man. That's definitely real. There was a question above from a Giants fan that I want. Oh, before we move on from this game, because I know we don't got no Giants talk tonight because of these recaps and whatnot. Bad Dog came out with a video talking about the Giants should listen to trade offers from other teams for Saquon Barkley. But he clarified what he was saying in that. He even made a really good point, a good metaphor. He's like, you could be in the house that you want to live in for the rest of your life, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take offers from somebody else if they offer you the right money. And I think that I agree with his sentiment there. You want to take the offers, but it's going to take a lot to get Saquon Barkley out of New York. I think he's going to be a great piece to pair with Wayne Gallman next year. And maybe they could turn Saquon Barkley into a different type of hybrid back that's more of a third down guy, but also a first down guy as well. But with Wayne Gallman taking the bulk load of the first down carries, I would think, until further notice.
Right. You got to be careful, too, because, a house is an inanimate object, doesn't have feelings. But when it comes to players, you start flipping players like that for what looks best, like you're playing a game of Madden, people don't want to come play for your franchise anymore. Like Washington's dealt with that the last 20 years. Dan Snyder's a terrible owner. I'm not going to go ahead. I'm not going to get into this right now. But you want to be viewed as a team that's a desirable destination for free agents. And I think putting Saquon on the market, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you, especially in the time of a rebuild. You don't want to turn into the Browns. I know exactly what you're talking about, where the culture is like, I don't want to go play over there.
Right.
I just don't think you'd be able to get that much for him anyways.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think you could get for him?
Fourth round pick.
A fourth for Saquon Barkley?
You get a player. You can get a fourth and a player, but it'd have to be an equally matched player as far as salary. Because, Saquon, even though he's still on the rookie deal, he's probably getting, what, $8 million, $7 million?
I think you could get a second for Saquon Barkley.
Ooh.
Don't forget, man.
Listen, you're talking to somebody who, I am a big Saquon guy. I think Saquon Barkley is that dude. But in today's NFL,
what did they give up for D-Hop? And I'm not saying Saquon is at that level because he's coming off an injury, but I'm just curious.
David Johnson
and
they didn't give a first up. Am I right? It was no firsts.
I don't know. It might have been a first.
I don't think there was.
You got to think about it like this: Saquon Barkley is coming off of some pretty significant injuries over the last 2 years. He's missed a lot of time.
Let's say the last year. I always got to clarify this because people do not forget, man. Saquon Barkley got a high ankle sprain in 2019 and came back in 3 games and still rushed for 1,000 yards in 13 games.
Yeah. See, D. Hopkins got a second rounder, and they got David Johnson thrown in the deal, probably just to make the salaries match. So that's the best wide receiver in football.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you got to get a first for him, but a fourth just sounds crazy for a player of that caliber.
It's a running back, the running back position. You have to understand, nobody is going to give up anything higher than a 4th round pick for a running back coming off of a knee injury.
You just feel more confident because you just read the chat and everybody agree with you. But you
that's the fact. Do you know this league with running backs? They look at the league looks at running backs like they're a dime a dozen now.
I'm trying to think of the last
Alfred
splash
Morris
trade
is playing running back again.
But that's only because of injuries. The Giants had 2 starting running backs go down.
But the point that I'm making is just that a lot of people believe in running back as a plug-and-play position these days. Are you really going to give up something like a 2nd-round pick or a 3rd-round pick where you're really picking players that are going to be playing every down for you for the next 5 to 6 years for somebody who's coming off of an ACL injury? And you know what I'm saying, is going to want more money after the season that you trade for him from.
Possibly. You got to think Saquon Barkley is in a prove-it year when he comes back off the knee injury.
The Beard, you're talking about trading running backs. Your Washington football team traded for a running back about 15 years ago. You know what I'm talking about? Think about
it. CP?
CP. And you know
was
we
that
gave
really 15? We gave up Champ Bailey, a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame cornerback Champ Bailey for Clinton Portis.
Yeah. It was an idiotic move.
I don't know.
Actually, it wasn't necessarily
he was trying to make a defend his argument there because Clinton Portis was a dog for Washington until he started doing that like head first slide thing when he didn't want to take the hits no more. I remember that.
He's the leading rusher. Clinton Portis is the leading rusher in franchise history.
Well, there you go. So it was a good trade.
In a million years, no, it was not a good trade. Never in a million years today would you see anybody trade a number one corner for even the best running back in football.
Different time for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, 15 years ago, the running back was way more important than it is today, for sure. And Tim's right now, that was probably the end of the era where you had one back taking most of the carries. And now most teams have two back systems, you know?
Right.
So I will agree with him there. But I don't know, man. Just when I hear fourth, it doesn't strike me as a player like Saquon Barkley caliber.
Sounds like a don't trade to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade for a fourth. But to Bad Dog's point, yeah, you definitely got to at least hear the offers because if somebody does come up and say, hey, we'll give you like a third and this player, I think you got to at least, listen in and see what's up with that.
Man,
right, absolutely.
Before we get to the next thing, breaking baseball news. Randy Arozarena.
I saw that.
Said breaking baseball.
Are you kidding me?
He got arrested for touching somebody, but it was in like the DR or Venezuela.
In Mexico.
I thought that was okay.
Killing me.
Tim's like in Mexico, guys. I thought
you
that
go
was
to the
okay.
DR before. You guys ever gone to the DR before with your boys and had a good time?
My girlfriend is half Dominican.
All right, let's save that for another chat. For another time. Had a good time to be had though down there, folks. Show. All right, let's get into the next recap. The shocker of the weekend, unless you won't listen to me on Sunday morning, was the Dallas Cowboys. They upset the Minnesota Vikings 31-28. Tight end for Cowboys, Dalton Schultz. He catches the go-ahead touchdown with minute 37 remaining, clinched the victory. Cowboys, we've been talking about it all year for the NFC East. Imperative to start fast. The Cowboys, they did. They were up 16-7 going into halftime. That's the third game in a row they've given up less than 10 points in the first half. So, we've all been talking about Seattle, worst defense of all time. People want to forget how bad the Cowboys defense was the first 6 weeks of the season. They were atrocious, giving up 36 points a game. The last 4 games, they're only giving up 25. So incremental improvements. And if you got the offensive talent like they got, it makes the games more winnable, which is what they had. They won the game. Andy Dalton, not quite finished yet. He told Awthentik to hold my beer. He had 3 touchdown passes. He only had 1 interception, 203 yards. So it wasn't a huge game for him, but Ezekiel Elliott was shouldering the load, and Andy Dalton supplied a little bit when he needed to. Ezekiel Elliott, 21 carries, finally hits the century mark, 103 yards and a receiving touchdown. He broke that 9-streak game drought of not having 100 yards, so that's good. Tony Pollard, gotta love the kid, man. 5 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown. He had a touchdown late in the fourth quarter, a long run that pretty much put Dallas in position to have that last touchdown to take the game over. Questions, the beard. All the talk's been about Seattle's defense, like I just mentioned. Dallas's defense playing a little bit better. Do you think that with this 20, if they're giving up only 25 a game for the rest of the year, you see some more wins coming out of this Big D or no?
I gotta see more than just this game. Listen, because they didn't do like a really good job, technically, in my opinion, defensively. I mean, Kirk Cousins had a great game. Dalvin Cook had a great game. I still don't understand how they won this game, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't. And before we get into the details of the game, shout out to CeeDee Lamb for that catch in the end zone.
Oh, I was going to ask y'all this too. So let me propose this to the chat. Who had the better catch of the day? CeeDee Lamb with the fade route where he's laid down like he's on his bed, waking up in the morning making a catch, or the Adam Thielen catch one-handed in the back end zone on the fade route?
That Thielen one was nice, but I go CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I think I'm.
We got to shout out CeeDee Lamb. He only had 2 catches, had a touchdown. He did pass Bob Hayes for the all-time rookie record for receptions.
Oh, so nice, man. Congrats to CeeDee Lamb on that.
Because you got to think about he dove and he literally corkscrewed in the midair and caught that.
Yeah,
That's
his
how I used to go in
adjustment
the
was
swimming pools.
crazy, man. Like,
dive to that pool in the swimming pools back in the day.
what an awful ball from Andy Dalton, too. Terrible pass. That dude.
He's cooked.
Awthentik needed one little jab.
Oh, I got big reasons. I got jab, right hook, gut shot. I got some dirty punches, some low blows. Come on, guys.
I mean, think about it like this. I mean, the amount of the total, I'm trying to figure out the exact total yards they gave up. They gave up 430 total yards, Dallas's defense did.
Not good.
Not good. And
Not good. I know, right?
You know, the Vikings probably left some points out there on the field.
That's Kirk Cousins, though. He's the king of empty stats. We know this. We know that.
But Kirk Cousins,
look at his stats. Look at how good his stats look in this game.
It's crazy looking. It's crazy looking. But listen,
that's Kirk, man.
It's just, and I know I don't want to, take one of the, I'm saying things I'm sure Awthentik wants to talk about. But, if Justin Jefferson makes that catch, this game quite possibly ends completely different.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. But, I'm not going to take anything away from the Dallas Cowboys because they needed a win and they were playing against a surging Minnesota Vikings team. And they came out and they did what they needed to do to win. And I talked about it last week. I said, is this the game that Zeke Elliott finally breaks the streak and gets 100 yards? And he did. And that's the thing. I don't understand. I to this point, I still don't. As bad as Dallas's defense is, what is one of the best friends a bad defense can have?
A running game.
A running game.
Yeah. And a good defense.
You got to be in the game. We talked about that last Thursday. You got to be in the game. And then going into halftime with that lead, they can base their whole second half philosophy off running the football because you're going out there with the lead. Which
and the major difference in this game, the reason why this running game actually started clicking, during the bye, Dallas moved right guard Zach Martin to right tackle, and they moved their young boy inside to the right guard to kind of disguise, some of his imperfections. And you see it on the stats with Ezekiel Elliott, 21 carries, 103 yards, 4.9. He's right back to being him old self. And you can see that if Zeke can continue to run like this, the Dallas Cowboys are a different team. I talked about this in the last preview with the Eagles and the Browns. Like, why aren't they doing this with Carson Wentz? When you run the rock properly like this and you're picking up positive yardage, all the routes can be short. And you saw it from Andy Dalton all day long. He was throwing slants all day, hitting people right on the numbers. He was throwing out routes all day. And he did a fantastic job of it, man. He played – It keeps teams off balance when you can run the ball like that with Ezekiel Elliott. And we saw some of that at the beginning of the year when Dak Prescott was healthy. But, Ezekiel Elliott wasn't even seeing the end zone. Zeke Elliott hadn't seen the end zone since that game against the Giants when Dak Prescott got knocked out.
A lot of carries for him, too. He hasn't had 20 in a while, right?
Yeah, he hasn't had 20 in a while. And when it's effective, you got to keep handing him the ball. And in return, it really shows out. It's so similar to the Browns game plan, except Andy Dalton had to throw the ball just a little bit more. But 22 of 32, 203 yards. It goes to show you how the passes were very short passes. 3 touchdowns in this game. And, going back to talking about the new style of running backs in the NFL with teams having 2 running backs, Pollard, to me, that was the momentum switch in this whole game. Beginning of the fourth quarter, that's the biggest play of the game. A 42-yard run to take the lead on 2nd 4. And there's a player for the Vikings on that play that has a perfect line at him, bro. And somebody should have took his game check. He literally watched Pollard go right by him.
He was a safety or a corner?
I think he was a corner because, Pollard kind of hit the right tackle and then bent it up. Homie's right there to make the tackle, doesn't make it. But I think that Dallas, man, if they could continue to run the ball like this, and this shows Dallas needs to address their offensive line in the offseason. To me, that's a must. Because if you're going to continue to run the ball behind Ezekiel Elliott, you need those big hog mollies up front to be able to make the right blocks. And it'll open up everything else for their offense. And I don't get it wrong. I bleed blue, but I kind of think that the Cowboys have their version of Thunder and Lightning there with Zeke and Pollard.
Interesting.
I think they should be using Pollard a lot more for sure. So they're asking in the chat, if you had to choose Ezekiel Elliott or Dalvin Cook, who are you taking?
I'm taking Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, for this year, you got to take Dalvin Cook. If we're talking about the whole body of careers, I might go Ezekiel Elliott, but for this year, Dalvin Cook every day of the week.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook's been crazy. He's been that Vikings offense and why they click.
Shout out to Kayleen Dragon 56.
Oh, yeah, we were chopping it up in the chat too, man. Shout out to you, fam.
The
Thanks
Beard,
for tuning
man.
in.
If the Cowboys are going to make a run, these are all ifs and ands and maybes. What's more important for them, their offense or defense?
Defense.
That's a good answer.
Defense. I mean, I wanted to get like real intricate there and be like, well,
I just said
the running game is the defense's best friend, so the answer's got to be the offense, because without the running game, then the defense going to look as bad as they really are.
Yeah, because these kind of games won't win them games a lot.
No, definitely not.
If the Vikings had that last drive and Justin Jefferson makes that catch there to continue that drive, as soon as they got the third down, I was like, oh, Kirk Cousins. This is not a good look for Kirk Cousins. Fourth down, I'm like, he's not getting it. But, they allowed 376 total yards. I mean, that's not a good look. The Vikings were 6 of 10 on third down. You got to stop these things. I think the fumbles really killed the Vikings in this game. That extra turnover gives Dallas an extra chance. And red zone defense was awful for the Cowboys. The Vikings were 3 of 3 in the red zone.
Who was that cornerback? You are not lying, Authentik. He didn't even want to hit Pollard. That was
you see that, right?
That is awful. That is
what about that hit, though, on Dalvin Cook on that fumble?
Oh, that was a big hit. Big hit.
Got up.
You don't see hits like that these days often anymore.
Great form tackle, too, man. Got to commend people making tackles like that, because most of these dudes playing safety, they helmet to helmet all the time.
I'm not a Jalen Ramsey fan off the field. He's kind of a knucklehead, but, man, he is the best form tackler in the NFL. Like, that Mike Evans tackle right before Mike Evans bullied the other side of the defense and scored. But he picked up Mike Evans and threw him down like he's not 6'4", 220 pounds. That was awesome.
You really only see those kind of tackles in high school where you get behind the knees and you don't see those in the NFL that much, man.
No, they're trying to put the big, and they're so much bigger. They're used to just like shouldering people and sending them flying. But man, that form tackle, you love to see that.
Yeah, Ramsey's definitely a dog, man. You gotta love Ramsey. But I mean, this is a big surprise win for them, man. I mean, Cowboys come out here, but I do think that this Vikings defense let down the whole NFC East. We really needed. We talked about it. We talked about Justin Jefferson's drop. I think the problem is you got to play situational ball, man. And Shannon Sharp was talking about this morning. Like, you got to know that in that case, because the reason why he dropped the ball is because he was trying to catch it and go. He was pretty open. He was going to pick up about a good 20 yards probably. But you got to secure the catch. Make sure you get the catch first. Got to know that on second down. You don't want to pin your team back in their own territory with the last drive of the game. You barely got any timeouts. You just don't want to have that, especially with Kirk Cousins. We know how Kirk Cousins is. I know this wasn't like quite a primetime game, but it was a televised game. And we know how Kirk Cousins does when the lights are on. The dude is not. He gets timid and he gets scared and he's
I can't even blame him, stage fright.
He had a good game. I mean, his stats look good, but he did miss some
stats look great. Yeah, stats definitely look great, man. But Vikings just let down the whole NFC East nation. I'm so mad that the Cowboys are back in this mix because they got the easiest schedule and the easiest path to try to win this division. And I promise you, man, I feel like this division is going to come down to that last game, Giants versus the Cowboys. I really feel like that game is going to be – and Washington versus Eagles will be a big game too.
That's going to be an awesome week of football.
But I'll keep it 100. I'm not as worried about Washington. I don't know why. I got a feeling.
Beat us twice. Of course. What do you mean you don't
beat y'all twice? I mean, we renamed y'all team the Little Giants. We own y'all.
Who did? Who?
New York.
Bad Dog asked me.
Joe Judge. Joe Judge already renamed y'all.
No, Bad Dog said, you know what I think the new name of the Washington football team should be? The Giant Sons.
Straight up, bro.
Great beat drop, by the way.
We own y'all, bro. We straight own y'all, bro. So I'm just not really worried about y'all. And I feel like y'all are going to lose an unexpected game down the stretch here that y'all don't expect to lose.
I mean, I expect to lose every game that we go out there and take the field and down.
Yeah, I mean, that's because you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I understand that.
I was.
You like that
Ticks
that was a good one. Authentik definitely brought the jabs
You like that.
today.
I mean, when you're an Eagles fan, you always expect the Washington Little Giants to lose.
Shout out to Lucas because he realized the Little Giants won the game in the end.
Yeah, they did.
So when do we earn our name back? Once
they beat the Cowboys. Don't get it twisted.
We beat some people. It's all good.
They beat the Cowboys,
While we're on the topic of Little Giants,
they cheated. The Bama had Stickum. Remember when he was like, he was catching toilet paper.
The funniest thing I seen though is on the meme. I know I sent it to y'all, where it's the Asian kid from Little Giants. And it says, nobody told me that this kid from Little Giants grew up to be Young Ho Koo, the kicker for the Atlanta.
Oh, yeah? I didn't even see that one yet. I saw one that said, you got to love when these two players played the same profession. And it showed, like, I forget that dude's name, the kicker. It showed the kicker for the Colts. And it showed, like, J.J. Watt. And they're like, these guys are on the same field at the same time. Because that kicker,
Cheeks. The Cheeks look alike from University of Georgia. Blankenship.
I think he could brand himself. You know, with them goggles. You know, he's a little skinny
Rodrigo.
guy. He should start looking for some endorsement money, like immediately.
Oh, they
bro.
probably knocking on his door right now. Look, I didn't realize somebody. There's a name for those. They're not goggles, right? They call them rec specs.
What?
Yeah, like recreational spectacles. They're called rec specs.
Okay.
I never heard that before, but I was like, man, if I had to wear some glasses, I'd have some fly rec specs in the game.
You gotta be careful. You can't just say that all willy-nilly on the show. We're probably gonna owe somebody money now for dropping that term. That's not just a random term. Somebody definitely has that trademark.
Nah, I think it's a real it's something that people really refer to. Rec specs.
I'm sure somebody like trademarked that name though, right? Because rec specs. Come on, that's
yeah.
He said, "Come on." I don't even know what they was called. Sports goggles? I don't even remember what them
goggles.
was
No, they
called.
should be goggles. But if somebody came to the basketball court back in the day and they had the goggles on,
What's
you're
up,
like,
fam?
all right,
What's up,
you're not
fam?
Horace Grant. Like, let's go. Get out of here.
Shout out.
Yeah, Horace Grant did have a sports.
Was it
goggles,
Harvey or
too.
Horace? It was Horace.
Both of them.
Both. Yeah,
They
both
both
of them
wore
wore the
goggles?
goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, did Harvey wear the goggles?
I don't know. I don't think Harvey
The
did.
way Tim said, yeah, I'm gonna say he didn't. Yeah. When he do that, it's sketchy.
Hey, yo,
you're responsible for made Awthentik think twice. Like, actually,
I gotta give a quick shout out to everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope. Am I missing any? We're at 73 people watching us across all the platforms right now. So we want to shout out to everybody.
And my man Daniel Jones is in the building.
Daniel
What's
Jones
up, kid?
is here.
What's up?
Hey, I just got my Daniel Jones
the rookie card?
No, it's not the rookie one, but it's this year, but it's the one that has the diamond inside the card.
You got to go ahead and just let me get that, bro.
10 and 10.
We
Daniel
bros,
Jones,
man. Let me just go ahead and get that. Let me just go ahead and get that because we bros, yo.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I got big faith in Daniel Jones. I'm about to order that jersey. Look, Giants.com and NFLshop.com don't got no Stitch Daniel Jones jersey. What is going on? I'm not buying one of those iron-on jerseys. I'll make one of those before I buy one of those jerseys. Forget that. Pay $100 for an iron-on, bro? Come on.
Any last words on the Cowboys before we take our commercial break, boys?
Yeah, I think we're good, man. I think
Anyway,
we're good.
Andy
I
Dalton
touched on there.
cooked.
Oh, Andy
Still
Dalton is
preheat?
cooked. He's cooked.
Okay.
He's cooked.
All right.
He's like an old, you know how McDonald's fries go bad? And you be like, man, I don't even know if I want to eat these, but you smash them.
I
you know?
still eat them, yeah.
Terrible.
I think,
and then every bite you're like,
I think that's the last good game we're gonna see out of Andy Dalton, and that might be the end of Andy Dalton for real, man. That the Vikings defense let us all down, and I think that this was the definition of a trap game. I think they probably overlooked this game on their schedule.
I didn't. Like a cold McDonald's fry. Awthentik says Andy Dalton is finished. All right, let's take one quick commercial break. We're gonna come back, do some trivia, and then we got Washington football recap and preview. So hang tight. We'll be back in 9 seconds.
Let's get it.
Your wide receiver on IR? Aw, shucks. Your running back keep fumbling every week? Man, damn it all. Well, come chop it up with your boys. We are waiver wire tight. Awthentik and the Beard. Every Sunday morning, streaming live at 11 a.m.
All right, I went totally out of order. Awthentik told me how he wanted me to do the itinerary, and I butchered it right away. So we're gonna make it work.
Look, we're professionals at this. We ride along.
We're not Skip Bayless.
You see that we didn't hiccup or nothing.
Hey, you guys are good. I'm looking down like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't do this right. We have arrived at our favorite time of the week here, Awthentik and the Beard. We present to you not just jazz flute.
Oh, that was
trivia
good.
time.
That was good. Logo, music, Scotty.
Trivia. All right, so like we mentioned at the top of the show, last Sunday we did hit our 1,000 subscriber mark. We're gonna keep moving on from that.
I didn't even get the pun, Scotty. I'm not even gonna lie. When you were like, all trivia is about 1,000, I did not even get the pun you were trying to do there, man.
It wasn't even a pun. It was actually 100% the truth, and you're gonna find out here in a second.
My man.
So trivia tonight, it's revolved around the number 1,000 because we're at 1,000. You guys are here because you're part of our 1,000. So hop on in. If you haven't yet, subscribe. You're gonna like it. I got 3 questions.
You're getting good at this, Scott. You're getting real good at this, bro.
It makes me glad. I feel like I rushed home from work driving like 90 miles an hour to get here to see all you guys.
That's what's
we got
up, man.
3 questions for the boys tonight. We go back and forth. Chat, if you know it, don't be afraid to punch that answer in there. The gentleman will steal your answer if they do not know it. Let's get to trivia. Authentic, you don't look ready. The Beard, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready, bro.
I'm jazz flute dancing, baby.
Is that your dad's flute dance? All right, I can deal with that. I think we're starting this.
You got to see the feats. You got to see the feats.
Let's do it this way. We're going to start with Authentic because I got one Washington question and I got one Giants question. So I want the opposite fan to answer first because I think the fan might know it. You guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's play trivia. Question number 1. Authentic, this goes to you, buddy. The 1989 Washington football team produced the second trio of 1,000-yard receivers. Art Monk, Gary Clark, and Ricky Sanders. Only second time
I thought
it
it was going to be the names.
Yeah,
I was going to be like, yes, I got it. Yes.
What was the nickname for this trio?
Oh,
Authentic, we're starting with you.
oh, man. My neighbor Ramsey would be so blown at me right now.
So Cernak got a dope hat with this.
I'm only going to take 15 more seconds max on this.
You get 8.5. The Beard doesn't even know it. He thinks he knows.
He does.
I know,
He does.
100% know.
Thinks
I
he
already
does.
know it.
He thinks he does.
Damn. I got nothing.
5 seconds.
Something
Nothing at all.
squad. Something squad. Damn.
Oh, you're close.
Touchdown squad. I don't know.
The Beard.
I will say it's the posse.
The posse.
Posse. Correct. I thought you were going to go Fun Bunch. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go.
The
All right.
posse.
That was good. That was good.
Now we're going to go with the Beard. We have a Giants question here. Going to question number 2. The Beard ahead, 1-0. Only 7 times in NFL history have 2 players on the same team rushed for 1,000 yards in the same season. Which New York Giants duo accomplished this in 2008? The Beard, starting with you.
Ooh, 2008. Ama Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs.
Authentic. Give me 2.
Oh, I didn't know I had to answer this. Dang. 2008, 2 backs that went over 1,000 yards. 2008. Yeah, I'm going to go Amon Bradshaw, Brandon Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs is one of them. The other one is not Ahmad Bradshaw. I'm going to give you guys one more opportunity.
Derek Ward.
Beard, do you have another answer?
Tiki Barber.
Derek Ward. I should have given you guys that, but I did it anyway.
I forgot about Derek Ward.
He had
Yeah,
1,025 yards, 5.6 a carry. And Brandon Jacobs had 15 touchdowns. Nobody was stopping these G-men on the ground.
That was
Oh, wait,
Thunder
that's-
and
Facts.
Lightning, the first edition, right? Or was that the
Shocked
second
myself.
edition?
Second edition. That was Thunder, Lightning, and Ward. I don't know. Where did Ward come from? I remember we scooped him up. Like
NBC4. Isn't Derek Ward like the local reporter? He is. Derek Ward.
Hey, that's what's up, though. We tied up.
Tied up. Going to question number 3. Another 1,000-yard question. You see the theme now, Authentic?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Question number 3. Jerry
Hey, Jameson,
Rice.
have a good night, bro.
Peace out, Jameson. Mr. Taylor. Jerry Rice holds the record for most 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He had 14 of them. Randy Moss is second place with 10. Which Jaguars receiver is tied for third on this list with Terrell Owens and Tim Brown at 9?
Am I first or Authentics first?
Authentic's
I
first.
know this answer.
Keenan McCardell.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to say Jimmy Smith.
Jimmy Smith's a correct answer. Why would you tell him that's a good answer when you know it's the wrong answer?
Because that's like not a lot of people know about Keenan
Incorrect.
McCardell.
We're giving the window out. No, just kidding.
Jimmy Smith. That's good.
Jimmy Smith's
That's
a correct
good.
answer. The Beard knocking it down. Good trivia, Tom. All right. I just wrote those up last minute, too, and I was supposed to be doing my studying at work.
The Beard, man. He's been killing me on these trivias, man.
I'm going to start texting you the answers Authentic ahead of time.
The posse? How I ain't get the posse? I'm supposed to know that.
What'd you say? The group? You were like, some group? Like, you sounded like you were right on
Because
that.
nobody in the chat got it right either.
They kept saying Fun Bunch, and that's what I thought you were going to
The
say.
Fun
was
Bunch.
That was
I
the
like
whole
that.
team, I think, right? That wasn't just the receivers.
Yeah, the
That might have
posse.
been a couple years later. The posse. Good
Posse.
trivia.
Gary Clark was a dog. Whew. He was one of my favorite receivers during that era.
I like Ricky Sanders.
Sanders was dope, too, in the slot.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people answered. Man, this chat's going so fast, I can't even keep up with it.
Yeah, PJ said like 30 of them said Fun Bunch.
They did. I'm rolling up. He's 100% right.
The posse. It's a good one.
I need to get Cernak to give me that hat.
Didn't Mario Van Peebles have a movie called Posse about like the first black Cowboys? I think that was the name of that joint.
Yeah, you're spot on with that one.
I saw that joint in theaters
He actually
when I was a
did
young buck. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right. One more recap to get to, and then we're going to talk about the Thanksgiving game coming up. Last game we're going to talk about from last weekend. Tim's, the Beard, Washington football team took on Cincinnati, took them down 20-9. Even though Washington got a win, that was not the big news out of this game. Number 1 overall draft pick quarterback Joe Burrow of the Bengals absolutely destroyed his knee. They were on their own goal line. It was like a 3rd and 2. We sent the house. I believe John Allen and Montez Sweat kind of pancaked the dude. His knee made an angle. I'm not really good when it comes to geometry, but it was an angle that no knee should ever be in. ACL tear, PCL tear. They said he's got meniscus damage. He's looking at least 9 to 12 months of rehab. So hopefully he'll be back for like the middle of the year next year, but I would expect Joe Burrow to be ready for week 1. Ryan Finley, the second-year quarterback at NC State, he came in relief of Joe Burrow. Not very good. He was only 3 of 10. He had an interception. Burrow was playing good before he went out. They had a very interesting offensive plan. They knew their O-line was going to be struggling against Washington's D-line, and they had quick outs, hitches, slants. They were pretty much getting the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands as fast as they could. Ended up leading to him tearing his knee up, but he did have a nice game. 22 of 34 in his limited time, 203 yards and a touchdown pass. After he didn't get sacked not one time, believe it or not, Joe Burrow. Ryan Finley came in the game in the 3rd after the injury. Washington got to him 4 times. Scary Terry McLaurin, Washington's wide receiver. This dude, reliable as gravity. Call him Sir Isaac Newton. 5 catches, 84 yards. And the one I want to highlight, cornerback for Washington, Ronald Darby. Arguably his best game all year. Maybe the best game I've seen him play. He could tell right away early on that they were going to target him in the passing game. He had 4 passes defended, which is an impressive number for a cornerback. He really stood up to the task tall, and he, pretty much held down Cincinnati from a scoring explosion that we were kind of worried about. The Beard, Washington teamers, they got a W for you, but not a resounding, decisive victory against not really a good team. Without the Burrow injury, who knows who takes that game down? The defense is close. Who's a player or position that you have to change out right now to see this Washington defense go to top 5 next year?
That's a good
right
question.
now they're top 10, man.
Safety position. I mean, because look,
free safety.
I'm getting rid of Apke. I like what they. Everett.
Apke's not a starter though. You know what I mean? If Landon Collins and Everett were healthy, Apke.
Yeah, but Apke was starting for a majority of the season.
Right, until they figured out how bad he was.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess you could say
the answer I was looking for was linebacker.
But see, that's the thing is like you're gonna get rid of all the linebackers.
Right, you got to keep some.
You see that in this game, Jeff Bostic. So previous to this game, Jeff Bostic had played. John Bostic? I always do that. John Bostic had played on. It was either 98.7 or 97.8% of the defensive snaps for the season. This week, he only played like 56% of the snaps. So they're finally like trying to, he at times he's a good guy. He's okay.
A good run defender, but I mean, he gets exploited in pass. Cole Holcomb,
it's so bad.
Kevin Pierre-Louis, those are the ones we gotta
Holcomb is good. So I mean, yeah, and Pierre-Louis ain't a young dog no more.
He's in his 20s. He's in his 20s.
Yeah, but
late 20s.
They're gonna need to address linebacker and safety for sure. And we talked about this all last week. Those are the weak points for the defense for the Washington football team. The line is solid. The edge rushers. Montez Sweat continues to have an amazing season. We cannot, overshadow that. And then, I talked about earlier, Chase Young, that play that Chase Young makes on Joe Burrow on the goal line, that saves the game.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
I've ever seen
it's the one mistake that Burrow had while he was in the game, too. Because I think if he stays in that game, he's going to continue to slice y'all up. I mean, you look at the first quarter, he was 13 of 17 for 199 yards on his first 2 drives, and they came away with no points.
Missed field goal?
A missed field goal, and then you get that play from Chase Young. So it's like, man, the kid, I feel like he gave them a really good chance to win this game, but the supporting cast, the kicker misses a field goal, and he misses an extra point in this game.
Yeah, he was
which really kept Washington close in this game for the first half of this game, and then, able to really put the nail in the coffin in the second half.
Awthentik, you've talked about Washington, maybe Antonio Gibson not being a stud, but you said that Washington can't run the football. He had a pretty good game, 16 carries, 94 yards. He was actually up over 100. His last 2 carries, he went negative. Finished with 16 for 94 and a touchdown. The dude's a red zone threat. He's got 9 on the year. That leads all rookies. Did you see any improvement in Washington's run game as far as the O-line, or was it Gibson doing his thing?
Most definitely saw improvement in this game, and I'll tell you the number one reason. Why do I always talk about why Washington can't run the ball? Anybody? Trivia time with Awthentik. Come on, Tim. You got to know this because they're always losing. They're always down by 2 scores. I've been saying it all year long, and in this game, with Burrow going out, and them not capitalizing on those first 2 drives, Washington was in this game, and it allowed them to continue to keep running the rock. Gibson had 16 carries for 94 yards. Is that what I'm saying? Did he not break? I thought he broke 100.
Nah, 94 yards.
He broke 100, and then his last 2 carries, he got like negative 13 yards.
Oh, that's garbage because they had a stat for him that was going to be his second 100-yard game of the season, and the other one came against Dallas in Week 7, I believe.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I like Antonio Gibson, man. He's a bowling ball kind of running back, man. He's a smaller guy, but he can run you over, too. I think he has all the skill sets to be your primary running back. And, pair him with a guy who's like, what's the other kid's name? I always want to say McKissick. McKissick, yeah. He's a good back, man. He can receive the ball out of the backfield. I like what he's doing. And this Washington defense has been balling out. They're still number 1 against the pass. And that's going to be my reason why I think that Dallas we're going to see a little bit of a different output from Dallas's offense next week, to be honest, because Washington has built that defense properly, man. The front 4 with all first-round draft picks, that's how you do it. You saw the San Francisco 49ers do it similar a couple years back, and that's how you rebuild. I like this rebuild because all you're going to have to do is address the quarterback position and maybe get another playmaker in there, and this team will be right back in the mix.
There's some defensive spots I'm not totally sold on yet.
For sure.
Somebody up here mentioned that Ron Rivera did bring in Thomas Davis. This dude is about 4 years past any kind of NFL peak or prime. He looks so slow out there that when they put him on the football field, it makes me think that they don't know what they're doing, and that's kind of crazy because we have some mediocre linebackers. Thomas Davis is done. They need to go ahead and give him a clipboard, send him to the coaching staff because he's cooked.
For me, I think, one of the things that I really wanted to point out today was the play of the offensive line. This has been a topic of conversation in the nation's capital for many years about how bad our offensive line is, right? Our offensive line played out of its mind this week. I know that PFF rated it the best offensive line in Week 11. The 2 guards, Schweitzer and Sheriff, both were number 1 and number 2 at the position until Monday night. One of the Rams guards ended up getting in one of those top 2 spots.
You got a subscribership to PFF?
No, but I don't pay for things like that. The biggest part though was this stat to me stood out the most, and it said the Washington football team had more runs of 10 or more yards than any other team in the entire week.
Wow.
How many?
They had 7.
That's
solid.
That's incredible. That's really good. Yeah, so you got to give credit to the offensive line. There's a reason PFF graded them like they did.
Yeah, and Awthentik and I talked about this earlier. It's like you kind of you when you're looking at PFF, you got to kind of look at it a certain way because their grading system.
Literally, as you say that, somebody's like, PFF is garbage.
Yeah,
grading.
You definitely have to look at it a certain
facts.
way. Like you can't just look at the grade and then just run with the grade. Like you kind of have to do like some cross analysis, analytics. To the actual play, the game.
Clean that up real quick. Aisle 4. I like that.
I'm trying. But to me, that's a big part of the game. And a lot of that goes to Antonio Gibson as a runner. And I talked about this last week, about how Antonio Gibson, his ability to break tackles is huge. And for somebody who's transitioning from a wide receiver to a running back, that's like the last thing that you would think that they would be excelling in during that transition period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to even see him as a running back. As a wide receiver. He's such like a bulky, smaller built kind of running back. It's like, how is this guy playing out on the edge?
That's interesting to say that.
And McLaurin, too. Every week we got to talk about McLaurin because McLaurin is a bona fide stud in the NFL. He's got to be, he's right on. I mean, if it wasn't for so many, like, really just top-tier superstar out of this world wide receivers, he would be in the top 5. You know, his consistency is insane. I'm pretty sure he's in the top 5. I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure he's in the top 5 in receiving yards this year, or right outside of the top 5.
Yeah, and when he catches it, he can go.
And that was the next thing, is that he leads the league in yards after catch.
Which is remind you of Anquan Bolden or somebody like that.
48.9% of Terry McLaurin's yards this year receiving have come after the catch.
That's
also a pit stain on our quarterbacks.
It is, but I mean, like, look, we got 3 wins by 3 different quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're a half a game out of first place. So, you know, you got to take what you got and run with it. And
I'm hearing some optimism over there, the Beard.
Yeah, you're in a little optimism. And this is the other thing, too, is that, you know, this is the type of game that Alex Smith really is.
Yeah, a game manager, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the balance of the offense with the run game and the pass game was almost 50-50 if you look at it yard-wise.
Mm-hmm. That's what you want from him.
The one turnover was, you know, it was a kind of a bad decision because he was definitely trying to force that ball, but it was a tipped ball off of the defensive player and into the air, and it was at the end of the half.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, we did good in the aspect of not turning the ball over, you know, and this is what I've been talking about, is that you gotta, as a coach, as a coaching staff, as a football team, you need to take advantage of the situational football. And we went into this game knowing that Cincinnati was 27th in the league in rushing. So you know you got to run the ball, and you better run the ball well. And they did that, right? And you knew that as soon as Joe Burrow came out that game, you knew you had to crank up that pressure. And they did that. And that's the thing. And, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if Joe Burrow doesn't come out of that game, there's a good chance that Washington loses that game. Let's just be perfectly honest.
The Bengals were up at half.
Got hurt.
Yeah.
So, you know, in this sort of race for the division and in this crazy year of football, you have to take what's in front of you, what's been given to you, these opportunities, and make something of it. The team that finds themselves in first place at the end of this season in the NFC East is going to be the team that takes advantage of the situational aspects of the football game week in and week out.
Yeah, and I think for Washington, the key to their victories is you never want Alex Smith to be in the fourth quarter and be challenged, being down a touchdown or 2 scores. You want him to control the game, let the running game really take time off the clock. You want to get positive yards in the running game and have him throwing short passes, make his third downs very convertible, I guess I'll say here, or you know, just make it where he's got reasonable down and distance, where he can take advantage of that, and he can be a solid quarterback. I even think you guys could look at him as an option for next year to kind of groom whoever's going to be the next young quarterback that y'all have. Start him for the first half of the season as a game plan, and then if it all, you know, fails, then you could bring in the young boy, get a young boy some more snaps. Kind of like what I thought this year, you know. I like Alex Smith, man. He can make the throws, and he's a smart decision maker. I think he gives the Washington football team the best chance to win the game right now. For like mid-season, I was saying it was Kyle Allen, but I think Alex Smith's experience shows up.
I agree. 100%.
And two negative points though.
Oh, okay.
For the game. Dustin Hopkins missed another field goal.
Y'all got to get rid of him.
He missed another field
weeks
goal.
late. 3 weeks late on getting rid of this dude.
I mean, I couldn't remember if we talked about how Ron Rivera flip-flopped on that last week.
We did. Because after the game, he was like, we got to revisit that. And then on Wednesday, he was like, oh, hang on. I didn't say anything about the kicker.
He's been doing that all year.
No, we recorded you, right?
It's the craziest thing in the world to me.
He's been doing that all year.
So there's that. And then the other thing is, too, as much as I did praise the offensive line in the run game, and this is kind of like not necessarily on the offensive line and not necessarily on... It's a combination of the offensive line, Alex Smith, and the coaching staff. We gave up 5 sacks. And that we've talked about that. That's probably one of the biggest concerns you have about Alex Smith, because he doesn't have that same mobility anymore. So, you know, you got to put some of that on the quarterback. You know, you got to get rid of the ball. You got to put some of that on the offensive line. They got to protect the quarterback. And you got to put some of that on the coach as far as play calling, and don't necessarily put Alex Smith in that position where he's liable to take a sack. So those are my negative points for the game. And Troy Apke dropped an interception, which might have... I mean, you know,
it doesn't get much easier than that, Troy. If you couldn't get that one, buddy, you're not going to get one.
So he's quite possibly the most disliked Washington football player in the nation's capital.
Yeah, I'll give you that, man. And shout out to AJ Green, man. He caught his first touchdown of the year. It puts him at second all time on the Bengals list. He passed Carl Pickens for second most touchdowns in franchise history.
Carl Pickens. What decade did that guy play in?
80s, I'm a guess. The name rings a bell from the 80s, I think.
Not too far. It's funny we talk about AJ Green and that one drive. He had like 3 catches in a row doing his man out there, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
okay,
I don't think he's cooked. I think he got a little bit of football left in the tank. It sucks that his quarterback just went down because I mean, going into next year, it's going to be tough for AJ Green, who has not had a fantastic year this year.
I think he's done in Cincinnati.
He might be. He might be. I mean, I don't know where his contract is. I wonder what Giants fans would think about bringing in a guy like that.
1-year deal?
Maybe 1-2 year deal.
I don't know.
Laylo's in the building. Mr.
Hey,
HD.
Mr. HD in the building. What's up, Laylo? How you living, bro?
Laylo, what up?
Hey, man, tough loss for them Raiders, bro. Me and Laylo were texting during that game, man. That was a tough, and I needed Patrick Mahomes to get another drive to win my fantasy game, and yeah, that happened. But dang, the Raiders end up losing that game by 3 or whatever.
Is Carr not winning you guys over a little bit more?
Carr I've been using Carr as a comparison to Daniel Jones, but let's pump the brakes on the MVP talk.
I think Patrick Mahomes right now is clearly the front runner for MVP.
Yeah, Mahomes is crazy. He threw his second interception in this last game.
Yeah,
I mean,
both of the interceptions have come against
the Raiders.
We're
in week 11 here. It's like,
Tesla, you missed it. We talked about your Cowboys, but don't worry, we got some more Cowboys talk coming your way.
Oh yeah, we got a little more Cowboys talk.
He had to come up in here and let everybody know the Cowboys won.
I'm surprised Monique's not here. I'm surprised our Cowboys fans aren't in here.
I know, right? Monique was all texting me paragraphs and stuff. Did y'all see Skip Bayless dancing on his Instagram?
I briefly saw it.
Dog. He was looking terrible. For one, he's losing crazy. He's losing crazy weight. And Skip Bayless, dog, he was looking. I don't know if he's sipping when the football games are going on, but he looked like somebody.
One?
Skip Bayless.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Looking like somebody drunk uncle when he was dancing. He was like doing something like this. I was like, bro, come on, Skip. What you doing,
You did one of them white people wedding dances?
Exactly, dog. I was like, bro, you need to just chill. Stick to commentating on football, bro.
All right in here.
Yeah, facts, man.
What's up with this FedEx Field surface, Awthentik? Is it cursed? Another major lower leg injury now. This is ridiculous now.
I saw somebody in the chat talking about that earlier too, man.
Same side of the field, 2 years to the date, I believe, and the Washington football team was wearing the same exact throwback uniforms, minus obviously the reconstructed no Washington Redskins stuff.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about, though. They got people over in Washington that just ain't doing good job. Like, how you gonna bring back the same uniform that Alex Smith was wearing to almost 2 years to the date when he just
somebody not checking.
Lost
somebody
his
not
life.
checking the history.
It was like, hey, this is a good time to wear the same uniform.
Yeah, and don't forget Joe Theismann got knocked out on that exact same day. It was the exact same day on that yard line. So you're looking at 3 injuries on the same side of the field, pretty much on the same day. I mean, somebody over there. I'm one who believes in the juju, and I'm a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for here?
Karma?
Not karma, but like superstitious. I'm a bit superstitious, right? Where like, if I wear a hat 2 weeks in a row and the Giants get the dub, I'm gonna keep the hat on. I got this little gnome upstairs, dog. This little Giants gnome. I almost want to go get it, but this little Giants gnome, dog, when he was facing the TV, the Giants could not get a dub. I turned him around. I almost brought him on the show last week, and I was like, chill, bro. It's bye week. Don't even mess up the juju right now. So somebody in Washington got to get with it. They got to get hit, bro. This juju is killing quarterbacks.
And the NFL just needs to just give him a bye week or put him on the road.
You're not going to get rid of the gnome. You're just going to turn him around during Giants.
I just turned him around. I almost put a blindfold over his eyes.
Right.
But I just turned him around, and then we got a dub. I was like, all right, you're just going to stay like that. You're going to look at the back of the router for the rest of the season.
Maybe he's an Eli Manning fan. He just can't stand to see Daniel Jones out there take a snap.
I had to know him for some years with Eli, too, man. He was struggling. He was struggling. So
why do you keep this thing? You gotta get him out of there, Awthentik.
I think it was his gift, man, or something, man. And it's made of like porcelain or something. I was gonna take it and just shatter that joint up against the brick wall, but I was like, man, I'm gonna chill because maybe in a couple years it'll turn into some good juju and it'll be some good luck. Because right now we doing just fine. 2 wins in a row. Coming off this bye, hoping to get 3 wins in a row. Man, if we get to the playoffs, I might just have to just unveil the gnome.
Now he's staring at the wall. He's like, man, I can't even watch the games anymore. I hate it. Get me out of here. All right, 9:30. It's getting late. Let's do this preview. You guys ready? Anything else you want to mention to Beard on your Washington football teamers?
I mean, we're gonna get ready to talk about them some more. So
yeah.
I can.
Let's get one commercial before we go to the preview one time.
All right, one more commercial. We'll be right back. One more preview, and then we're going to get you guys out of here. Hang tight. Be back in 5, 7, 8, 9 seconds.
Expecting your lineup to be the only for it to turn into some. Well, we can help you rectify that situation. Come chop it up with your boys, Awthentik and the Beard. The best division in football. The best division in football. Streaming live every Tuesday, every Thursday at 7 p.m.
Every Tuesday or 8 p.m. on certain days. Like tonight. But normally it is 7 o'clock, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sunday morning, the parlay. If you guys do fantasy football, if you gamble on sports, come check us out. Get your coffee, get your beer. 11 a.m., the parlay. We do all the football games. We pick them over, unders, and against the spread. And the Beard and Awthentik also will give you guys some fantasy players to plug in if you want to win that $1 million on DraftKings.
Big facts, big facts. Hey, let me get to this Xavier McKinney question real quick.
Yeah, get some Giants talk in there, man.
Thoughts on how we're going to utilize Xavier McKinney. I definitely think he's going to be in the box a good bit. I'd like to see him at free safety a bit too. And I just want to see how he adjusts to the speed of the NFL. I definitely don't want to see him out there at cornerback. I saw somebody else talking about should we maybe sign a cornerback that's with the Tennessee Titans right now. I forget homie's name, but Giants definitely need to bring in another cornerback. But Xavier McKinney is going to bring a lot of depth to this team. I don't want to mess up what's going on with the chemistry with these guys who are playing right now. Logan Ryan having a great season so far as an OG veteran. I like what Jabril Peppers is doing, and everybody's in love with James Bradberry, man. Make sure y'all vote for them Giants players for the Pro Bowl, too, man. James Bradberry is a must to get into that Pro Bowl one time.
They call McKinney the X-Man?
I don't know. Y'all watch college ball more than I do. Is that what they call him? The X-Man? I thought Zimenez was the X-Man for us.
That's what I thought. I thought somebody in the Giants thing was saying, oh, yeah, can't wait to get X-Man McKinney back. And I was like, I thought Zimenez.
Hey, if we could get one more player with the X, we could triple X. You remember triple X? Yeah, you remember that? We would bring that back. We bring that back heavy one time, man. My man Six Kid or whatever his name was, Kid Six.
We're not really a wrestling fan. I can't even lie to you.
They're loving the production.
I feel you. Shout out to Lalo and my man Peter Rosenberg. Big wrestling heads. Both got wrestling channels. Make sure you check them out.
We got to chop up that Rosenberg show and put it in some little teasers for people to see because it's
far back
for
now. Sure.
We have
for
so
sure.
many shows that it gets buried down there, so I can't even go revisit it. Looks like
that's real.
All right, we're only gonna do one preview tonight. Normally we do them on Thursdays for the weekend. Because we have a Thursday game this week involving an NFC East team, you're going to get it right now. Bonus coverage. 3:30 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day. The Beard's Washington football team is traveling to take on the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be a good game. Washington beat Dallas 25-3 on October 25th. Andy Dalton did start this game. You might not remember. He got knocked out with a concussion. And then Awthentik, your boy, Ben DiNucci came in the end of the game. It was ugly all the way. Washington's line just pinned their ears back. They had 6 total sacks on the day, 2 by Montez Sweat. That was Antonio Gibson's best game running the football. He had 128 yards and a touchdown. This now is a new Dallas. They are much healthier. The Beard, I believe the Beard, mentioned it a minute ago. All-pro guard Zach Martin. They shifted this man to right tackle. But Mike McCarthy is done losing. He's pulled out all of its stops to kind of turn this Dallas season around. We'll see how it's going to work out for him. Awthentik, they actually missed practice today, too. Their strength coach had some medical emergency, I heard, and they shut it down. So thoughts and prayers out to Dallas' strength coach. I don't know the gentleman's name, but I hope he's doing better. Awthentik, Dallas had to fight hard the entire game against Minnesota to pull that victory out. Didn't get the game-winning touchdown to like a minute left in it. As opposed to Washington, once we took Burrow out, it was pretty much easy sledding. We took the lead after that, and it wasn't really a hard-fought game in the fourth. We kind of had it in the bag. Coming on a short week, short rest, which one do you think benefits the team more? Dallas having to fight all game long to get that victory, or Washington maybe being able to take their foot off the gas pedal in the third quarter and kind of cruising to their dub?
I like the question, bro.
Thanks.
I mean, I think it gives Dallas the upper hand in this because Dallas was coming into this Vikings game with absolutely no confidence in the quarterback position. Being able to run the ball with Zeke Elliott in this game, man, the 12 rushes, the 16 rushes, I believe it was. 21 rushes, for 103 yards. That really is going to instill some confidence in them moving forward because now they know their identity. And this goes back to what I was talking about in the Browns and Eagles game. The Eagles have no identity. The Cowboys know that their identity goes to both their running backs. And Ezekiel Elliott, we're going to have to see him run the ball. I think that's the key to victory actually for both teams. But Washington's defense, we know that they're no slouch. I mean, last time in week 7, when they faced the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott only had the 12 carries for 45 yards, 3.7 a clip, which was pretty terrible for a guy like Ezekiel Elliott. And you see Antonio Gibson got it going this past week. I mean, I thought it was 100 yards, but you talk about them 2 losses, and we're looking at 94 yards on 16 carries. I mean, the Vikings defense, they're a glaring problem if you ask me. The Cowboys should not have won that game, Vikings should have came in. I picked the Vikings to be a dark horse, as my man Tim would say, a playoff contender. I thought that they were going to make the run. They started off real slow. They won like 3 or 4 straight games. I thought that they were going to be able to get into these playoffs. And this game just puts me right back down to earth with the Vikings. I'm done with them, bro. Like, I can't stay invested in that team.
Well, don't forget you bet me that they were going to make the playoffs.
That's what I just said.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you say that, but yeah.
What, do we got the delay on the echo on? What's going on, bro? That's what I just said.
We got a lot of bets going on in this side. We got
we got the Patriots bet and we got the Vikings bet.
Both of whom lost this weekend.
Both of whom lost. I'm hoping somehow that just evens out. Nobody got to pay nobody. But I still got faith in the Patriots. The Vikings, on the other hand, But, in week 7, this is another thing, too. I think that Washington's pass rush is going to have to be excellent in this game. Those writers talking about my man Chase Young, they wildin'. I'll take Chase Young any day. In week 7, Andy Dalton was 9 of 19 with 75 yards and an interception before he got knocked out with a concussion. And that is the Andy Dalton I'm talking about that's cooked. And you can't reheat the patty. It's done.
Once the CTE gets in there, you don't get the CTE.
That's my man Dave Robb would say. You cannot reheat the patty, bro. You know what I'm saying? So Washington's pass defense is still number 1. They're only allowing 195 yards per game. They need to continue that. I said it was a bit of smoke and mirrors, but I'm going to need them to prove me wrong in this game because I'm going to be rooting for Washington on Thanksgiving to win this game. I think that it's better for the New York Giants if Washington wins this game because we got the tiebreaker on, I want to say, Washington because we got the 2 dubs on them,
NFL says the perfect NFL. That's pretty good pronunciation. He said perfect scenario for your G-Men, Awthentik, Cowboys and Washington tied up.
Is it really though? Because I'm kind of thinking about is that really real?
Yeah, that's good because another team won't get a win in the division. So if the Giants can win, it'll give us that 1 up on the other team, or that half up, as we like to say in football here.
Better than one team winning, one team losing.
Exactly, it'll even y'all both out. Which I tweeted that actually like the first day or on Sunday when Vikings lost that game. But Washington's definitely going to need to generate pressure. They've been doing a good job of it this year. Washington is 4th in sacks. Their rush defense is only allowing 4.3 yards per carry, 120 yards a game, which if they could stay around those numbers, I could see them winning this game. And, I know that Ezekiel Elliott's coming off a confident, very confident game. And this defense played well at the end of that game because when Vikings were getting the ball back, I thought for sure Dallas was cooked. There was enough time on the clock. I thought Kirk Cousins would go down there, take his team down there, but you get the drop from Justin Jefferson, which really just halted that drive. But the Cowboys' rush defense is awful. They're ranked 31st right now, allowing 4.9 carries and 153 yards per game. So if they could allow a good 120 to my man Antonio Gibson, man, look for Washington to win this game. And I think Washington can win this game convincingly on the back of their defense. We know about Cowboys' passing defense, which started off awful this year, and they allowed 3 touchdowns to Kirk Cousins last week. Kirk Cousins, he's playing better, obviously. He's got 4 straight games where he's playing pretty good football here. I want to say 2 of those, he's got 3 touchdowns in it. But the Vikings have been calling a really good game plan for Kirk Cousins, and it all comes through Dalvin Cook running the ball first. And I think that's what's kind of opening up things for Kirk Cousins. But I'm just looking for Washington's defense to really have a staple game. You guys remember that game, first week of the year against Philadelphia? My man Tim called out 7 sacks, I want to say it was. The Washington football team got 8 sacks. I hope when we kick this over to him, he's got a good sack prediction over there for me.
The beard, man. You
so
notice
we could get this dub.
You notice the way Awthentik loves to man, Washington, worst team ever, blah, blah, blah. But the week he needs us, he's like, man, number 1 pass defense. Linebacker's solid. I mean, Gibson, probably the best running back of all time. Is this the same Awthentik that I worked with 5 days ago? What the heck is going on? I appreciate it, though. I love it.
I'm a fan, Scotty. I'm a fan. And
you're allowed to change your opinion.
When a fan needs wins, I need things to move in my favor, and you got to do what you got to do.
You don't have any gnomes of Washington's players that you can turn to the TV or turn away from the TV, nothing like that.
I don't own anything Washington, anything. The only stuff that look out, Tim looking at me over there too. The only stuff that I have in this whole house that's Washington belongs to Tim, and most of it is packed up in some old boxes in the storage attic over here.
Problem right there, the beard.
I don't plan on getting it out.
Man, the beard. I got one question for you, and then I'll let you take over. I know you got a couple things you want to say. In the first matchup that Washington won against Dallas, they ran it 34 times. They only threw it 25 times. Do you want to see a similar split on Thursday?
Absolutely. 100%. So look.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, hit the prescribe. I like
Somebody
that.
said prescribe earlier. We should start using that.
That's kind of tight. I like that.
This is your medicine, baby. Come check us out Tuesday,
Dr.
Thursday.
Scotty Boomz in the building one time.
It's not Dr. Doom. It's Dr. Boom.
Hey, now we're talking.
But look, it's interesting because the question you asked Awthentik, right? About how, would you rather have played, those 2 games? I'm happy that we played that sort of Bengals game because I want to see that sort of same game plan executed against Dallas. The balance of the rush, the balance of the pass. I want to see, dominating run game. I want to see McLaurin get his 7 to 10 catches. I want to see the defense get at least 4 sacks.
Hold on. Was Ryan Finley the leading rusher for the Bengals?
Yeah, 19 yards. There's 3.
I'm
three.
How many times?
See you guys next week, guys.
How many times we prescribe Gio Bernard to our people on Sunday?
He had 1 carry.
Look, this what
we were off on that one.
There was 3 players that had 19 yards for them, or 2.
Oh, nah.
Finley had
that is a disgrace.
Finley had 1 for 19. P. Ryan had 5 for 19. Giovanni Bernard had 9 for 18. And Joe Burrow had 2 for 12.
Hey, we need to holler at Corey Dillon or something. We need to call some OG running backs.
And Tracy, I take one-on-one appointments only, though. I don't know if I take your insurance. If you got Blue Cross Blue Shield, I accept that. So
look, that's what we need to do. We need to be able to, contain Zeke Elliott because Zeke Elliott is the key to that Cowboys offense, in my opinion. So if we can force Andy Dalton to have to make throws, as long as we can contain the big play, the deep pass, because you know how I feel about the Washington football team. They give up 1 or 2 of those big plays every game. And, if you can contain that sort of big play action, you can get the sacks, you can hold Zeke, to under 100. And then on the opposite side of the ball, you can get Alex Smith to give you between $150 and $215 with a touchdown or 2, no interceptions. You get the running backs to go over 100. It doesn't even necessarily have to just be Gibson over 100 yards. If you can combine all of them to give me $150, $160, I'd be happier. Happier than the little fat kid in Major Payne who found a piece of candy in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. But listen, everything is thrown out the window on Thanksgiving. Dallas, Washington. You know what I'm saying?
Big game.
This is a Super Bowl. This is the real deal turkey bowl.
You think the rest of America's thinking that, or you think you're just thinking that?
Listen,
I think the rest of America.
Yes and no. Because look, this is the thing you gotta think about, right? You gotta think about it like this. And I talked about this when Awthentik and I were on with Bad Dog and Entertainer. No matter what anybody says about this division, every single team in this division is playing meaningful football with 6 weeks left to play.
Maybe not them Eagles, man.
I mean, they the ones that's
They're
in first place.
They
So, you know what I'm saying? They
meaningful
got
football.
to win. I mean, we all got to win right now, but this is going to be a big game for us. It's a big game for Dallas. It's a big game for the NFC East in general. We're all
Scotty tried to get that autofocus back.
We're all in a must-win situation. Yeah. So I'm excited for this game, and I mean, we know what we need to do to win the game. Just don't do the opposite.
Hello.
Yeah.
Score the most points.
Score the most points. So I guess
playoffs.
Playoffs. You guys want to give me picks and scores?
Yeah, let me get this one first, man. I'm jumping on the Washington football team bandwagon for Thanksgiving. And
first time all year, for sure.
Yeah, I think it is the first time
really?
all year. I think so.
Sure.
Maybe opening day, maybe I was rooting for y'all. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Washington, y'all not going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
Y'all see the sweater? I wore this on purpose today.
Temper down the expectations.
The bearer of bad news.
He's got a
Because
knife.
the Cowboys
That's terrifying.
and the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles are not making the playoffs. I hate to tell you this. So I'm going to pick this game. I'm going to go 24-24 tie. Book it.
What?
No,
Are you
no,
taking
no,
my?
no,
You're
no,
taking
no.
my ties?
Yeah, you said Washington.
Hey,
said
no.
He said
Listen.
Yeah, one more chance.
Y'all remember last year when I picked those ties that if they don't tie, it counts as a loss on your record. And Scotty Boomz, we need an update on the records.
It's not Thursday, man.
He had a long day, bro. He had he said he was
I-
going 90 to get here to get in front of that microphone. Then when he got home, the internet was wilding out too, bro.
been
Come
a
on,
tough
we can't
day.
give him that. But Scotty, I'm just playing, man. I'm just BSing with you. I'm gonna go 24-20 Washington in this one.
That's my God. Thank you, Authentic. Man, you really had me.
Hey, man, as an
murdered for a
Eagles
second.
fan, I really respect your opinion and my thoughts on
What did
the
I
score,
tell you,
man.
man? I'm done.
Look, all these new
Done.
people in here are thinking that Scotty Boomz might actually be
I
a real
know.
Eagles fan.
I mean, I do like the Eagles a little bit. I mean, I liked what they had going on. I'm finished with them now. I sent him. I didn't even call him to break up. I sent him an email. I said, "It's over. Don't expect me back. I'm changing the locks."
You broke up through an email?
Yeah, come on, man. Have you seen that team play football? Have you seen that pick six of last week? Carson Wentz is the worst. The beard.
Carson Wentz is struggling, man.
Oh, that's a blowout, and NFL. I like that score. The beard. Give me a off the wall, outrageous score. Give me your pick for this Thursday's game.
So the Washington football team has not scored 30 points in, I think it's 2 years now. So,
that
Whoa.
right? Is that right?
yeah. The Washington football team will score 31 points, and the Dallas Cowboys will have 27. So,
That's a lot of points for two bum-ass teams.
Yeah, 31-27 Washington football team.
31-27. I'm going to take the
I
Cowboys.
wanted to take 31-17, but then I was like, I feel like if I pick 17, they'll score 27. So I think if I pick 27, they might score 17.
So why don't you pick what you really feel instead of like trying to come up with these weird equations?
Look, Authentic
Scotty's like your therapist, so why don't you
Authentic-
just really go with your feelings?
Authentic got the gnome. I got the score backwards reverse psychology.
Matt Emery says 27-17. I imagine he's taking Washington.
I say he didn't put a team in there, but I hope he's taking Washington too. Dallas has been turning it around, man. They didn't add any pieces on defense. They got rid of some old, overpriced veterans on the D-line. It seems like it's taken. They're not shutting teams out, but if you give up 25 points a game, you got Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, that could be enough for your team. I'm going to take Dallas 28-24.
Wow.
You did that. You just did that.
Beat stops. Yeah. Oh, no. Beats coming
Did
back.
you really just do that?
What do you want me to say? I picked to win here. Come on.
Man,
It says the man in last place.
I cannot believe he just convinced me off my tie and then went and picked the Cowboys. Did you
I wanted
just
you
do
guys.
that?
I wanted you guys both in the same squad so I could take the opposite team. Cause I got to catch up.
So
I do
you
think the Cowboys are
convinced
gonna
me.
win. I think the
got
Cowboys
you.
are gonna win. I do. I don't think Andy Dalton's cooked, man. Not like a
Andy
not like
Dalton, you
Andy
cannot
Dalton.
reheat the patty. He's cooked. It's done.
You can't reheat
Look
that.
at Matt Emery said.
It's done.
Don't do that, Matt.
Matt
Come on,
Emery
buddy.
says I'm
We go way
defending
back.
you. Michael Simone says, glad I moved out.
He just walked
I
out the
heard
door.
Mike's boxes in the
I was
background.
gonna say, how is he even on there? Maybe just walk out the door. It's an echo in here. I don't even know if my dog's still here. I think he took my dog.
Oh,
with him.
man.
Cooper, come here, buddy. My dog. No. All right.
You guys want to?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you guys want to give everybody a heads up on the remaining schedule for the rest of the week?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Y'all want me to do that? I can take care of that.
Yeah, I don't remember what it
Okay,
is.
so Thursday, instead of our normal preview show that we do at 7 p.m., we're going to go live at 4 p.m. for Washington versus Dallas. We'll be doing a little hangout, little play-by-play, maybe tapping in some homies. So if you want to come on the stream and say a little something, make sure you tap in. Then on Saturday night, I don't think we have a time designated quite yet, but it'll be Saturday evening sometime around 7 or 8 p.m. We'll do our preview show for the rest of the games remaining that are coming up on Sunday. And then don't forget on Sunday to check us out when we do the parlay. We'll be going over some fantasy stuff, picking some teams and picking some games and some betting odds at 11 a.m. All of this is Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you sub up, hit that bell so you can get the notification when we go live, man. And I'm looking forward to it, man. This should be a really dope Thanksgiving, man. This should be a really cool week and a defining week in the NFC East, man. I think we'll leave some teams in the dust, and two teams will come out of this ready to make a run for these playoffs. Kinda. I'm going with my Giants, though, one time.
One time for your mind. The Beard. That was pretty good by Awthentik. You want to send him off right tonight, buddy?
I mean, I'm so, like, stoked right now. Just this podcast, like, this channel, these fans, these supporters. Like, y'all got me super hyped. Like, I've had a long 2 days, and to be able to come here and like chop it up with Scotty Boomz and Awthentik and everybody here in the chat for like almost 2 hours, like it's, you know, like it gives me this sort of revival. Like, and I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank y'all from the bottom of the heart. Like, it's Thanksgiving, and I'm super thankful for these two guys next to me, you know what I'm saying, Awthentik and Scotty Boomz. I'm super thankful for everybody in the chat. Like, man, y'all just, it means a lot to us. Like, we put in so much work, and it's just a lot of fun, but at the same time, like, just the support, I'm like almost speechless. So thank you guys.
It's crazy,
I really
man.
appreciate it.
It's definitely wild, man. You gotta love seeing the channel grow, man. From straight up scratch, man. I mean, the subscriber numbers in the last month have just been ridiculous. I want to say it was up like almost 500, man. So we definitely appreciate the support, man. And VT Jake says, where are the super chat capabilities? We're just about 1,000 hours away from the super chat capabilities. Definitely appreciate you asking that, man. We're going to get there, man, real soon, man. Just make sure y'all tuning in.
Sweet. Yeah, Thanksgiving. You guys did hit it right on the head. What are we thankful for? I tell these guys all the time off the air, they open doors for me that never would be available to me in my normal life in the medical field. So I thank them every day for that. The sports is really what I love. It's not what I do, but it's what I love. So I got to thank you two guys for that. And this 1,000 subscribers I talked about at the top of the show, this is you guys. It's not us. We can only subscribe one time each, so that'd be 3.
Facts.
There's 997 of you guys out there that made that 1,000 possible. So we appreciate you. We thank you for rolling with us. The chat makes this great. Without you guys' involvement, it would just be up here like reading off stats off a piece of paper. So really,
I do go in and like every video like Obama. I'm not even gonna lie. For those of y'all outside of the DC area, Obama is you just a buster. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, no one else uses that word?
Nah, that's specifically to our region. But hey, we're gonna keep the streak alive, guys. Y'all, we're keeping the streak alive. So this is 9 days straight for me. Tomorrow I'm gonna be on Bashir's channel. Nice. Make sure y'all check out the young bull. He's only 17 years old. The dude knows his football. He's a Philly fan. I'll have a link on my Twitter, man. Definitely check that out. I think it's going to be around 8 o'clock. We're going to keep the streak alive. We're going to get to 10. Thursday will be 11. Maybe Friday I get a break, but I'm thinking about starting these engineering streams on Friday too. So we grinding, bro. We're going to keep this moving.
Amen. Maria said you look handsome, the beard, and I concur. You do look very handsome with the fresh cut, man.
What, I'm just chopped liver over here, Maria?
Bro, I'm trying to make Gretzel upset or jealous over there.
I know, right?
Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Sorry we kept you, or we started a little bit late. Appreciate the flexibility. Looks like a lot of people are having fun in here with us. We'll check you guys out on Thursday. The Beard and Awthentik, they're going to live stream the Washington-Dallas game. They're going to be on a little bit early, so check us out about 30, 40 minutes before kickoff. We'll get you a firm time shortly here. Have a beautiful evening. Thanks again for tuning in. Best division in football. Good night and good luck.
Peace, y'all. Peace.